What's up, ATLiens? What's up, Atlanta United fans? What's up, Atlanta? What's up, ATL Joe? I'm Blake the Marshman. We're ATLiens United.
I'm ATL Joe!
Oh, wait. Did I just introduce you, Joe? I'm sorry. That's your part. We're back deep underneath Mercedes-Benz in Five Stripes Studio. We're here during an off week. We're coming back. We got 2 games this week on the West Coast. Everyone needs to get ready. Get your Cali vibes going, your West Coast vibes going. It's time.
Cheer for Tata.
It's time for, this is our 33rd episode. Wow, Joe. Let's do this thing.
Blake, I'd like to take this time of the podcast to remind our fans, give us a 5-star rating for the 5 Stripes.
On a 5 Stripe Friday.
Wonderful 5 Stripe Friday. And big news going on around Atlanta. We always love to start with what's the big concert in town. Music Midtown is here. This is huge. Hurricane's on the way, so pray for no rain. And currently right now the weather's looking pretty good for a wonderful weekend at Music Midtown, but hurricanes are always unpredictable. It could take a severe turn, so it might end up getting muddy.
There's always different models. There's the Euro model and the, I guess, the American model and other models, and all of them have the hurricane going in different directions. But according to my latest late Thursday night, Friday morning forecast, it looks like the hurricane is heading in this like S formation. So it's going to come into the like coast from the east, obviously, and then sort of swirl and then go straight up north. So I think it's going to miss Atlanta by looks like about 50 miles. So I think maybe we'll get a little rain. It's like 20% chance over the weekend, but Saturday and Sunday are actually looking pretty clear.
I do like those hurricane models where it usually shows a big, strong red line of what it should happen, and then it's got about 20 different white lines of what else could happen.
Yeah, so you guys get out. Atlanta United is going to be obviously playing, but Music Midtown's going to be a huge event this weekend. We got Kendrick Lamar, Imagine Dragons, Post Malone, Fall Out Boy.
The Revivalist.
Gucci Mane's going to be there.
Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
It's going to be great.
You know, the best thing about Music Midtown weekend is the fact that you get a bunch of pop-up artists showing up all over the city, and you go to random bars and you can catch a really cool show of a bunch of awesome bands that you didn't know were going to play there. Or if you planned ahead of time, you can even see Music Midtown after parties, have great DJs or bands that were playing during the concert that day play a late night show. And actually, our very own Britt, our producer, won tickets to Rainbow Kitten Surprise after party at Smith's Old Bar with a wonderful video she shot of our friend Bradford doing a dance at an Atlanta United game. And it's great. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out our Instagram. It's up there. It's a hilarious video, and it really captures the essence of an Atlanta United fan going to a game.
So let's talk about Atlanta United fans going to games. Music Midtown's going to be fantastic this weekend. We got to wait a whole nother week until after that for another home game. Falcon season is rolling in. Mercedes-Benz is getting ready to, let's say, balance between 2 major programs now. And Atlanta United support, even Arthur Blank admitted, can be rowdier than Falcon support. But there is a tie-in here. It's the Home Depot backyard. It's the company that Arthur Blank founded. They have sponsored this incredible tailgate area where they tore down the Georgia Dome, and it has been finished. It's been completed. It is ready to tailgate in. Long live the Gulch. No telling what's going to happen with the future of the Gulch. It's a fantastic home, temporary home for all of our tailgating. But this backyard, I've seen pictures. If you guys haven't checked it out, get on Atlanta United social media. You can just Google Home Depot backyard. It is an 11-acre green space where the Georgia Dome used to be. It's got an awesome soccer ball, like mirrored mural. I don't know if you've seen that, Joe.
I've seen the progress of that soccer ball being created, and it's slowly formed into its formation, and it's beautiful.
But this is going to be a park. It's literally a park. It's not the city of Atlanta's park. It's owned by Home Depot and Mercedes-Benz collectively with Arthur Blank's money ultimately. But it's going to be open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. So even if it's not during a game day, it's just going to be a beautiful green space. Atlanta's known for the city in the forest. We got tons of beautiful green spaces, tons of beautiful parks, and I'm excited to have another beautiful green space right next to our home stadium and our home studio, of course, because we're deep down below.
That's really cool. Everyone loves tailgating in the Gulch, but it can get so miserably hot down there. And then to have a green space open to tailgating before the game, it's very exciting news, and I'm definitely going to check it out a couple games and kind of test the waters of which is the better tailgate spot, and maybe even do both.
Yeah, future of the Gulch is still up in the air. I know there's a lot of city stuff going on with the development of the Gulch in the future. We'll see what happens there, but we are excited the Home Depot backyard is tailgate ready. Again, check out Atlanta United social media if you want a sneak peek of that. Let's talk about what's gone on while Atlanta United hasn't been playing, Joe. We have had international break. No one cares about the international break right after the World Cup. It's like, man, we have to wait 4 years for a relevant tournament. But there's a lot of relevant tournaments, a lot of relative international news before then. The USA is who we're going to feature today. What went on with the U.S. over this past week, Joe?
Yeah, USA had 2 great games. They played Brazil and they played Mexico.
Our rivals.
But there were 0 Atlanta United players on the USA team. No Andrew Carlton. I was so expecting to see a call-up.
Good.
No Chris Gosselin.
No one to get hurt.
No George Bello. But it's okay. They went into Brazil, or Brazil came to us, and Brazil won the game 2-0.
Brazil.
A bunch of young players. The average age of the U.S. national team was 22 years old. So it's still in that transitional state, and they played a decent part playing Brazil's almost number 1 team, like 1B team. But then they went on and played Mexico and beat them 1-0 on a goal by Tyler Adams of the New York Red Bulls.
Fantastic young player. All the respect in the world for Tyler Adams. I do not want to see the Red Bulls win, but Tyler Adams is a special talent. He is most likely heading to Europe after this season. He might stay in the Red Bulls family and go play in Leipzig in Germany, which is also owned by the Red Bulls. We'll see. Pulisic was out for both games. Our United States international star, who's becoming a superstar from the German league, the Bundesliga at Borussia Dortmund. It kind of sucks for team rebuilding that he wasn't in there, Joe. Right. But at the same time, I think this was great that we were able to beat our rivals Mexico. There were some chippy moments. There were some funny moments. A Mexico player got a red card. We scored immediately after. So I think the signs are positive for the U.S. men's national team, but we have to find a manager. And we still haven't announced a manager. There's really no time frame. I guess we're not really in a hurry because relevant international tournaments are so far out.
Yeah, and it's not a huge rush until it gets to about 3 years until the World Cup. That's when you really want to make sure you have that key lock-in manager. But it'd be nice to have one right now in this huge, crucial rebuild section. Anyways, it's not a big...
No, not a big deal. I agree it's not a big deal. You know what is a big deal, Joe? We clinched a playoff spot. And a lot of this has been, okay, we clinched a playoff spot. Everyone knew we were going to clinch a playoff spot, right? Everyone's talking about winning the Supporters Shield. Everyone's talking about winning a trophy, getting glory at the end of the season, this last season that we might hold on to all of our original crew, if you will. We're not sure about the future of a lot of different factors within Atlanta United. We're not sure about the future of players, managers. We'll get to all that speculation later. But this is the year that is supposed to all come together. Last year we got close. This year we're at the top. I am pumped that we clinched a playoff spot, but I don't think that's anything to celebrate. That's just me personally. What are your thoughts on us clinching that spot?
It's huge news. We continue to set strides in Atlanta. And clinching that playoff spot is big, but we got to reach further than that. We want trophies. We want medals. We want to win the best of the best. We want to clinch the CONCACAF Champions League. So our mindset is bigger than playoffs. We established that we're a playoff team last year. Now we got to establish we are a perennial Supporters Shield threat. And so we got to go out and win the Supporters Shield this year.
I completely agree. let's talk about the Supporter Shield really briefly. I know we've covered it a lot in previous episodes. I want to hit on something going into this week that is crucial. We have 2 games this week, Joe. New York Red Bulls only has 1. We have a game in hand. So by the end of this week, by the time we record our next episode, we will be even in games played with New York Red Bulls. And a lot more will be clear from the crystal ball right now that is a Supporter Shield. Who's going to win it? What's going to happen? We still think it's all coming down to that matchup in 16 days at New York. But right now we're averaging 2 points per game. Red Bulls are averaging 1.96 points per game. They have 28 games played, and they're 1 point ahead of us. They have 55 total points. We have 54 total points. If we can win over the weekend and they drop points, we could get a little bit of an edge going into that Wednesday late night game in California. So we'll keep you guys posted. This is the race. We are the only 2 teams in the entire league that have clinched playoffs. Playoffs are done for both of us. Red Bulls, Atlanta going to the playoffs. It is a 2-horse race. NYC has fallen way off the pace. They're down to 1.69 points per game. So it's a 2-horse race. We've known this.
And over the weekend, New York Red Bulls is facing the common denominator of the Supporter Shield race that's not in the race themselves, DC United. And so another huge game that DC could help out Atlanta United, just like they did when they went and tied New York City. They didn't help us when they beat us. But now they're facing New York Red Bulls. And if they can get a result, a tie or a win, could dramatically help us as we go on, and we'll preview these 2 games this episode, but facing the 2 worst teams in the league.
Finally, big news for Atlanta United that isn't big news yet, but this will be big news for the future. Will Vint, he is a player that was in Manchester United's academy. He is actually coming to join our academy. We'll get more to this in coming weeks once we see more of him. 16-year-old midfielder, all the talent in the world to be the next star. He's going to be part of our academy. He's probably going to move up to the first team next year. We're going to keep you posted. Just remember the name Will Vint. He's the next one of our own, at least from a U.S. perspective. Speaking of U.S., I know we talked about international break. We only had one guy in action, really, and Josef Martinez playing with Venezuela. What did you see out there, Joe?
Yeah, Venezuela came in, and I mentioned this last episode, that Venezuela doesn't know how to use Josef Martinez properly, or at least build a team kind of around him like Atlanta does, where we keep him as a lone striker and give him some attacking midfield to kind of feed the balls into him. And they go out and do a 4-4-2 formation, kind of the classic, we've got talent, but we don't know what to do with it formation of 4-4-2, put 2 strikers up there. And Josef Martinez, again, constantly as I watch him with Venezuela, disappears or looks lost, and it's no question it's not his talent. We know how talented he is, but he is very much what the system is around him and the talent is around him helps him succeed. And he didn't give much to the game. He did have one-on-one chance with the goalie, ended up calling offsides. So he got an offsides call.
Shocking.
And then he got taken out early, thankfully, and now he's coming back to Atlanta, getting ready for our next game.
Yeah, so I saw something weird. And I don't want to throw our fans into a panic because he didn't score last game. He missed a golden opportunity against DC. But it is time for another Josef Martinez. Watch. And you might have noticed the lack of excitement in my voice there, Joe. And that's for
Why is that?
That's for a combination of factors. It's not just the fact that Josef Martinez has now played in 2 games straight without a goal, including the international break. The fact of the matter is, he's gone gray again.
He changed it from blonde.
Josef, how many times do we have to tell you? We have all the data.
Blonde.
You average more than a goal per game as a blonde. Periwinkle, less than a goal per game. Gray, terrible.
This is something that we're kind of sweating over, and I hope you can prove us wrong, Josef. But we've monitored your stats, and as a blonde, you set records. You're unstoppable. The ball just knows to go in the back of the net.
This is unbelievable.
But when you change your hair to a different slighter shade of blonde or gray, your goal stats fade, just like your own personal fade.
I really can't believe he's gone and done this. And I'm in shock because he was in the form of his life as a blonde. Now he changed up the style every now and then, a little different product from time to time. He's still tiger stripe in the eyebrow, but why gray, Joe? Why? I don't get it, Joseph. Prove me wrong. Maybe it's a little West Coast thing. Maybe he's trying to get his mojo back.
Or maybe he's priming his hair again to get it gray base there so we can go super blonde for playoffs.
Okay,
I'll take it. Super Saiyan blonde.
I will sacrifice out of form gray Josef Martinez if he decides to go bleach blonde for the playoffs and sets all the playoff records. I'll take it. But that's what it's got to be, Joseph, because this gray, I'm not happy. And you better guarantee that the other, how many people are going to be in Mercedes-Benz in our next game? Is it a full game?
70,000?
The other 70,000 Atlanta United fans are not going to be happy with your gray hair if the ball doesn't go in the net. So, prove us wrong.
Score a hat trick.
But we are upset with your hair this week, Joseph. Still love you. Upset with your hair.
Hey, as long as playoff time comes and he goes Super Saiyan and Miguel Almiron comes out of nowhere and grows 6 inches on his hair and dyes it blonde too, I think everybody will be happy. Other than the hair that's hurting you, Blake, tell me what else is hurting.
Injury report. Injury report.
So ominous. A lot of things are hurt. But let's talk about positive things first. We just went on a lot of negative rants about hair. Darlington Nagbe.
Oh, Darlington Nagbe.
Yeah, that one never really caught on. Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
Joe.
I just got to go to my roots.
So let's talk about something really quick. You have predicted the return of Darlington Nagbe for a very long time, and it is here.
The return of the Nagbe.
He is back in full training officially Wednesday. He's training with the first team, and just breaking today, Doug Roberson, he is going to be traveling with the team on this West Coast trip.
Roberson always travels with the team.
Not Roberson, Nagbe.
Nagbe is traveling with the team, and it goes right on the point of what I've been saying all along. He's going a little bit early, but I fully expect Nagbe to get just a few minutes of playing time the next 2 games, kind of condition him, and then we might see against Real Salt Lake the full return of the Nagbe.
Okay, you know I love quotes, so I'm going to throw some quotes out there, and this seems very, very encouraging when it comes to Darlington Nagbe. Tata Martino says, if he thinks that he's okay, then he's going to play. He's so gifted technically, those are things that you don't lose. With him, it's mostly just a matter of fitness. So basically he's saying, Nagbe's fine. He could get out there and play right now. We just have to get him in shape to be able to play 90 minutes, so he's probably going to come off the bench in 1 or 2 of these games. And then Michael Parkhurst, our captain, comes out and said, he's looked sharp. I don't want to speak for anyone, but he'll play sooner rather than later. So we were thinking last time we had this talk that Nagbe wouldn't be back until we returned home from this West Coast trip. This is fantastic news because our midfield is so versatile now. If we can stay healthy, knock on your wooden hammer as always, because we have some great midfield depth right now. And I could not be happier. Our acquisition of Remedy over the last transfer window was timed perfectly with Nagbe's injury. We forgot Nagbe even existed, but the fact of the matter is Nagbe was one of our best players over the first half of the season. This is huge news. Let's talk about other news in terms of injuries with big players. Greg Garza, still no word, but he still could be back for the playoffs. I just don't know if he's really going to be able to get back in match form, match fitness, ready to go. He's not as technically gifted as a player like Darlington Nagbe. It might take him a little while to get his touch back. If he's lost speed, which he shouldn't have because it's a shoulder injury, but still no word on Greg Garza. Playoffs at the earliest.
Yeah, he could come back for playoffs, but another thing we're looking big picture is we're qualifying, or I'll knock on wood for that, is we're qualifying for the CONCACAF Champions League. And we need our best team, and Greg Garza as our left back is Atlanta United at their best. And we want to go international with this and win trophies across the world. So we might be even saving Greg Garza for that international Champions League.
I totally agree. So I'm going to just blast through really quick a couple other injuries to less relevant players. Sal Zizzo, he's been out with a right knee injury. He was seen riding a bike, but who cares? Okay, Mikey Ambrose, right knee surgery, obviously out 3 to 4 months. We've covered this before, just kind of catching everyone up if you haven't listened frequently. Brandon Vasquez still has that hurt foot and a hurt ego. Looks like he's not going to be in this next week. Franco Escobar. Now, this is a relevant player who we have needed to solidify our back line. He is back at full training. Now, will he feature? Tough to say because we still don't know if Tata is going to stick with 4 or 3 at the back. But at the same time, I think we need a healthy Franco Escobar to make a deep playoff run and to lock down the supporter shield.
Well, I'll throw something in there is when Franco Escobar has gone out being hurt, and then when he gets back to full fitness, that is one exception to the rule that Tata's made. And when Franco is healthy, he throws him into the game. He does not bring him in as a sub. He puts him straight into action.
Yeah, healthy Franco always plays under Tata. Finally, Awo, Andrew Wheeler Aminu, is still suffering some back spasms. Not sure if he's going to be relevant this trip. I'm not even sure if he's going to travel. Again, not really a relevant player, especially with the return of Nagbe. No hate towards Awo, but we just don't really need him due to our midfield depth right now. So enough with all of those injuries. Great news on Darlington Nagbe. Let's talk about, we got 2 games this week, so let's go ahead and preview that first one. It's going up against the Colorado Rapids.
Yeah, we got Colorado Rapids coming up. We got a doubleheader this week. We've taken, it seems like a year off. When's the last time Atlanta United played?
I think we played...
It feels well over like 5 months.
It was before Josef was gray.
Yeah,
so
and
a lot of time
obviously
has passed.
He's aged.
Yeah, a lot of time's passed. Josef has gray hair now.
But Atlanta United is getting back into action. And this is great timing after we kind of got that sour taste of our mouth of what happened the last time we played.
Oh, I thought that was just the bad beer.
Yeah, it might be the bad beer. Now we got to go face the 2 worst teams in the league. First on the slate is the Colorado Rapids. And they are rapidly spiraling out of control.
Was that pun intended?
Always pun intended.
Spiraling.
Yeah, they are the 2nd worst team in the league. They've only won 6 games all year long. And it's incredible to me with the talent that they have on their team. Very minimal. The 2 players that I would say to watch out for are Tim Howard, who's their goalie, and then they just he's
How can you watch out for a goalie? I mean, he's a goalie. Is he going to score on us?
No, he might let in easy goals.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, this is not the Tim Howard of old.
Right.
Who used to play for the U.S. national team.
Well, he came here last year. We all chanted USA for him.
USA?
But then we beat him. Do you remember that? It was at Bobby Dodd.
It was on 4th of July, wasn't it?
Was that the 4th of July game?
No, that was San Jose.
I don't remember.
Wondolowski had that sick goal on 4th of July.
Oh, that was really cool.
That's San Jose who we're playing later.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. But we did chant USA for Tim Howard last year. He gave us a little wave to the supporter section.
Yeah.
Always respect a great servant to our country and the promotion of soccer in our country. Tim Howard played in the Premier League with Everton for a long time. I'm not a huge Everton fan, but I was really proud of the impact the balded, bearded wonder with Tourette's that was Tim Howard in his prime. And I still think he's a good goalkeeper, but hopefully we put 5 or 6 past him.
Well, he's allowed 50 goals all year long, which if you put it against the rest of the league, it's probably about 5th worst. There's not much worse than that. It's not all Tim Howard's fault. It is, I mean, they have no defense whatsoever. But I will have to mention one player that had just recently come to their team, and he's kind of like remaking himself, is Kellen Acosta.
Well, that's a great player.
He's a U.S. international. He came up through the use of Dallas and was this stud kid, all-star. And then over the past year, he's kind of lost his form and was a lost soul at sea. And in the middle of the year, just an unbeknownst trade just came out of nowhere. And he went to Colorado, and he's kind of reinventing himself. And so a cool little stat is he's started to score goals and assists now that he's come to play for Colorado, where he had only had 1 goal and 2 assists the entire time at Dallas this whole season. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 6 games.
Yeah, it looks like he's playing a little bit forward. Then, like, normally he plays central midfield, right? But I've seen, from the highlights I've seen with Colorado, he's been pushing up further, almost playing like a number 10 role, similar to like a Miguel Almiron. So he's definitely got to watch for. He's going to drop in the hole behind the striker. He's going to look to create goals, but he's also going to look to take shots on goal if he could get close enough. I think Acosta is still a great talent. I think that he did need a change of scenery. I know you mentioned he was lost at sea. Dallas, I wouldn't really call a sea. It's very dry there, but it's also dry in Colorado. I think that he could thrive here, but the Rapids have been so bad this year that we're not going to see the real Kellen Acosta until they probably reset their lineup going into next year. I think there's going to be a big overhaul there because honestly, I think Denver has a lot of potential to be a big soccer market, and they're just not really bringing it right now. And it's kind of disappointing because we always talk about the MLS and the future of the league. We try to cover that and how the league is evolving on our show. I really think that Colorado is one of those teams with a little investment and a little front office backing and a little promotion, some targeted marketing could really thrive in a place like Denver.
Yeah, but the first thing that brings fans to the stadium is a good product on the field.
Exactly.
And they lack that
currently. But Acosta is the right move. This was a great move by their front office. I think it was a good trade for both parties. Dallas is still fourth in the Supporters Shield standing, so I don't think they're missing Acosta. But I think this is a good move for him, especially because he could be a key U.S. international player moving forward. Watch out for Kellen Acosta.
Well, Blake, I got to ask you real quick, tactically against this team, we've kind of got injuries here and there. Our lineups have been all over the place. What do you think, formation-wise, we're going to bring to this Colorado game?
So I think with us getting healthy, Tata Martino, when we are a healthy squad, has shown that he likes to play a 4-3-3. And that's what we're going to come out with. We've had a lot of rest. Escobar, no Escobar. We're going to play 4 at the back. I think that McCann, and if needed, Gressel has proven that he can play right back. If Escobar's healthy, I think Escobar will slot to those right and left back positions with McCann, Escobar / Gressel. And then I honestly think he's going to stick with our good old LGP, Mikey Parkhurst duo. And then in the middle, Nagbe's not quite ready. He might come off the bench, so we'll probably have Larry, Remedy, Miggy. And then up front, why not? If it's not broke, I just think now that Barco's back, now that Barco's healthy, you got to play Tito, Barco, and then, of course, you got to play Josef Martinez.
Right.
So, I think our lineup is kind of, with all this rest, unless something's happened in training totally shocking, I don't see... The only thing I could see is maybe if Escobar comes back in, Gressel playing out on the wing, Barco getting dropped because he did have a terrible game recently, and Tito inverting on the left-hand side instead of Barco playing there, Gressel playing right wing, and Escobar slotting back in. But I just don't see us changing from 4 at the back for this game.
The huge question mark is what you just said, is Gresselmania. Tata has played Gresselmania every game this season. That is his go-to guy, and I don't see him dropping him from the lineup at this point in the season.
It's the most versatile player on our team.
But we've got Franco Escobar, who's seemingly healthy. I'm thinking he's going to start the game. So the question is, who do you bench? And there's so many options there. Barco is the one that's flaring up as the fan favorite to sit on the bench. But in all honesty, he has played a solid midfield game, and Tata Martino likes his style of play. I don't see him being dropped. It's a big question mark. Like, who is going to take the bench if he's not playing Gressel?
I really think it's pretty straightforward here. If Escobar's ready to go, then I think Barco goes to the bench because I think he likes Gressel in there, especially on the road, keeping his composure. Barco kind of lost his composure on the road last game and gave up a penalty that ended up kind of, you mentioned spiraling earlier. It kind of spiraled us out of control after Barco gave up that penalty last game. So I think if Escobar is 100%, Barco's on the bench. But I don't know if he's 100%. We haven't seen the guy in a while.
And you know what? This is a good time to test the waters because, God bless, this team sucks.
Yeah, Colorado's bad. Let's test the waters.
And I'm going to test this new beer out, Blake. I need a beer.
Beer of the week!
Every week. And we have big news for this beer of the week, Joe. Before you spike it home, as you always spike it home, we're an Atlanta-based podcast. We support Atlanta United. And one of the oldest, and they claim to be the oldest brewery in all of Atlanta, Georgia, formerly known as Red Brick Brewing Company, has rebranded themselves back to their original name. I think this is pretty awesome, exciting news. I wish we could show you visuals because their new cans are beautiful. They have renamed themselves the Atlanta Brewing Company. And so they kept their most famous IPA, Hoplanta, and we're bringing it to you as our beer of the week. Joe, let's spike it home.
Our beer of the week. Give me a little chant here.
ATL.
Joe.
The first ever Atlanta Brewing Company beer spiked home with Golden Spike. I could almost guarantee that. There's no way anyone has spiked. These beers are fresh off. What do you call it's like fresh off the press when you're printing newspapers. What is a beer that's fresh in the can? Like, what would you call the canning device?
Fresh out the keg.
Fresh out the keg?
Fresh out the fermenter.
Fresh out the silo? No. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Freshly canned.
Freshly canned. Atlanta Brewing Company. So same location. They just rebranded. It's really cool stuff, though.
And I love that they brought back Hoplanta, which is their marquee beer, their go-to. And this was actually the very first IPA that I drank as a grown-up. And I became a huge IPA fan for the rest of my life.
So they released a new beer, Hartsfield. It's an IPA as well. That's their brand new beer. It's available in stores everywhere. You guys look out for Atlanta Brewing Company. Their graphic designer needs a raise. These cans look fantastic. So they still have a couple of the classics. Soul of the City is an American Pale Ale. Hoplanta, of course, the classic IPA, Joe's first IPA. Homestand is their Pilsner. And then Hartsfield is their newest beer. It's their only new beer. Since 1993, Atlanta Brewing Company. You guys go back to what was formerly known as Red Brick. It's Atlanta Brewing Company now. Great spot, great beer. I know it's going to be in Mercedes-Benz coming up soon as well. So, yeah, good stuff from them.
Yeah.
It's a great beer. We're going to keep drinking it. But guess what? We have one more game we have to preview.
It'll come the midweek game, and it's going to be on the late night.
Staying pitted on the West Coast.
Pitted on the West Coast. We're going to go out, get some beach time, and then mosey on into our game for that late night game against the San Jose Earthquakes.
So I'm going to talk about something really briefly, Joe. This one's going to be a challenging game for the Five Stripe faithful back on Eastern Time. This game is kicking off at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is actually 11 p.m. on Wednesday night. Everyone's going to have work on Thursday. Watch parties are going to be a little interesting.
Fun.
I was on my phone today. I was looking at let's just, browse the calendar. I was like, why does Atlanta United play on Wednesday the 19th and Thursday the 20th? Like, is that right? Why does my calendar have two games? And then I realized
the rollover
that by the time this game is over, Joe, it's gonna be Thursday. So the question I have is totally it's irrelevant to anything we're really talking about. But is this game a Wednesday game or a Thursday game?
Well, this game is a perfect Wednesday night to spend at Brew House. Go watch the game at Brew House. Everyone's going to get so rowdy there, have a great time, and you'll watch all the way through till Thursday.
But you didn't answer my question, Joe, and I 100% support the Brew House watch party. I will be there. It'll be a great time. We will spend a lot of Wednesday evening and some of Thursday morning cheering on the Five Stripes. But how do you put this game on a calendar? Would you say that for Eastern Time people, however many minutes are played in each day, that's what day the game is on?
This will be a great Wednesday night game to spend at Brew House.
Unbelievable.
You can go to Brew House, drink some beers, watch the game, and last all the way till the next day on Thursday.
Okay. I'm with you. It's Wednesday night on the West Coast. We're going to the West Coast. It's going to be a fun one. I don't know if anyone even goes to San Jose games. We mentioned the Supporter Shield earlier. San Jose is sitting dead last. They only have 4 wins all season long. They are the only team that has been officially eliminated from playoff competition. I know we talked about how bad Colorado was, but mathematically, Colorado is still not eliminated. San Jose is the only team out of 23 MLS teams that has been mathematically eliminated. I just don't know. It's one of those things though that's really funny because they only have a negative 11 goal diff for the entire year.
Which that's incredible to be last place in the league to have negative 11 goal differential. Another incredible stat, which kind of coincides with being last place, is they only have 2 wins at home all season. We're going into their house that they're going to try to defend, and they've only won twice there all season. And MLS has been a league where you win your home games, you lose your road games. Atlanta's kind of defying the odds of winning a bunch of road games. Well, San Jose's coming on the other end and defying the odds and not winning their home games. And that's why they're sitting in dead last in their league.
It might be their terrible name. Who would call themselves the Earthquakes? I mean, Earthquakes, that's like calling yourself a natural disaster as your team name. I mean, I know a lot of teams do it. There's like the Lightning or the Hurricanes.
The Rapids.
The Rapids aren't natural disaster.
It's a natural occurrence.
I mean, an earthquake, that's something that has happened it's a very traumatic incident in California's past. Like, a bunch of people have died in earthquakes in California. Why would you name your team after the Earthquakes? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. That'd be like us being Atlanta Snowpocalypse, whatever that year was that we had the Snowpocalypse.
That'd be a solid name.
Or the Atlanta year that we had the tornado.
Atlanta bridge collapse on I-85.
Yeah, Atlanta I-85 collapse. Like, who names their team after a natural disaster? There's really no one on this team to talk about that is a good player. Actually, I like Wondolowski.
Chris Wondolowski. He is a regular on the U.S. men's national team and a regular not playing in big games.
I think that Chris Wondolowski is somebody that could have been great, but never was.
He's been a great MLS player of the old school MLS, and he came into the league and he scored goal upon goal upon goal against the lesser talent. But ever since the MLS has shifted and brought the talent from other leagues around the world and bring in younger players that are super talented to the league, Wondolowski's kind of taken a back seat to it. He's still scoring goals and still a special talent of his own, but he's kind of taken a back seat to the new age of the MLS, and he's the old guard making way for the new guard that is Josef Martinez.
They have this other guy, Vaco. Is that how you say his name? He's got 9 goals this year. Maybe one to watch out for. Surprisingly, they've beat Dallas twice this season. Dallas is 4th in the entire league in the Supporters Shield, and San Jose's beat them twice, so they're capable of beating us. This is a tricky road trip because we're going to be, off of our element. Our sleep schedules are going to be a little thrown off. We're way out in San Jose, hoping for no earthquakes.
Yeah, you mentioned that Dallas game, and that is interesting stat. They've only won 2 home games all year, one against lowly Minnesota, who's not a great team on their own right, but then they beat Dallas at home. And then not so distant away from that game, they beat Dallas on the road. They went back-to-back against one of the top runners in the Western Conference. But that could be just a case of sometimes teams just match up well against another team. A good case in point is DC United playing Atlanta United. They know how to play Atlanta United, and they play that stupid bunker mentality of just sitting behind the ball and catching us on a counter, and they've done it 4 times out of the 6 times we played them. So that's another thing with San Jose versus Dallas that I can bring up that point.
So there's really not much else to talk about San Jose. This team has been awful all year long. I did a little research while we were talking because I did start thinking about the earthquake thing, and I'm like, someone has to be offended by this. So the name Earthquakes originally came from a newspaper contest in the San Jose newspaper all the way back in 1974. Fans were encouraged to send suggestions into the newspaper to name the soccer team. They were playing in the North American Soccer League back then. A little bit of history from Blake. Earthquakes were chosen by the team's general manager, Dick Berg, but he was so heavily criticized because San Jose was so close to the San Andreas Fault. The entire league ended up collapsing in the 1984 season, and a new owner came in 1994, And he was like, that is a terrible name. And they became the San Jose Hawks. So they were the San Jose Hawks all the way up until 1999, when I don't know what happened, but they were like, everyone around the team was like, we want the Earthquakes back. I guess it'd been long enough since an earthquake.
I don't know. That's a good thing to go research.
This is absolutely ridiculous. If you guys, I mean, it's more interesting than researching San Jose's season so far. And I apologize if you guys do not care at all about what I'm talking about. I just felt all this was very relevant.
No, and that's an interesting point that they brought it up during a newspaper to submittal. That is something you cannot do in the modern day and age of social media and asking someone to name a team over social media because of all the trolls out there. You would get a name like, I don't know, Dragon
Ball. Synergy. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, we picked an all-star game from it. Bodie McBodie.
Yeah. Anyways, let's break this down further. Let's talk about Tata Martino.
Yes, you might be wondering as you listen. Hopefully on your way back from work now. If you're still on your way to work, it's probably a pretty long commute for you, and we're sorry about that. But we're going to talk about some not super exciting news. We're not going to talk tactics. We've talked tactics for the games. There's a lot of rumors. Rumor has it, Joe. And tell me about these rumors, because I'm not feeling great about them.
Tata Martino has been strongly rumored to going back to the Argentina national team. And this is big news, but it's all this crazy rumor season, and Argentina would love to have Tata Martino back on their team. But then it just came out recently that Tata Martino said to the media that he's committed to Atlanta, and he has not had talks with any national teams, be it Argentina, be it Colombia, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of that cat and mouse game that everyone plays when they're trying to get the top priority coach. Argentina national media is going to flood the media channels that Tata is coming to their team. Atlanta United front office is going to tell Tata to tell the media, you can't talk about being in talks with another national team. You've got concerns with Atlanta. And then you got to dive into it deeper. And like, what is in Tata's mindset right now? Tata Martino is with a team that he's built from the bottom up. He came here from Argentina, where he was fed up with the politics. He was fed up with their system. He left there, even though he had a good team with the best player in the world, Lionel Messi. With his own team building, he had the best attacking team in the world. A team that he built Atlanta's model off of. And now he's in Atlanta, where everybody loves him. He is the star of the town. He is the favorite upon the MLS, upon the fans. And he's loving it here. And his dream coming in is with the front office of being an international team and getting to that Champions League, which we have a very strong possibility of embarking upon next season. So I believe Tata Martino is going to be here to stay. But this is unnerving, to say the least. Blake, what do you think?
So I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of research. Tata, we know you listen to the show every week to get your tactical advice. So I'm going to give you a little personal and professional advice, because there's no one better to give personal and professional advice than ATLiens United. That's been proven time and time again. If we haven't taught you to drink beer on a Friday morning, then I don't know what you've learned from us. So listen to me, Tata. You can go back to Argentina. You are an Argentinian. You are a legend of the game. You've coached the top clubs and top international teams of all time. But Tata, you're a job hopper. You've never had a job for more than 2 years. You've never stuck with a project. You show up, you get everyone excited, and then you bail. So I'm challenging you. Think about it before you jump ship. The grass isn't always greener. Despite all the reports, this stuff wouldn't be coming out of Argentina if there wasn't something behind it. Of course, he's going to come out and say, you, Tata, you're going to come out and say, oh, I haven't talked to them. You're contractually obligated not to talk to them. But we know they got your cell phone number. You used to be their coach. You're Argentinian. You're a legend. You can always go back there. But the World Cup isn't for 4 years. That team is not going anywhere. Messi might not even be around for the next World Cup. I would say your project's here, your family's here, the city's behind you. Argentina will always be there for you, but why not finish what you started? I don't really have anything else, Joe. And Tata, if you're listening, which we know you are, I hope you heed our advice because we have a lot of good advice.
I'm going to end it on have some faith in Tata and know that he has faith in Atlanta. We are ATLiens United. Thank you guys for listening to our show.